you for joining us today on EdFile. Welcome to the program. I'm Ayola Kasim. As populations have grown and demands for land and timber have grown even greater, so also has deforestation accelerated. Current rates of deforestation amount to about 6 million hectares a year. That's about 8.5 million football pitches. Forests play a critical role in mitigating climate change because they act as a carbon sink, soaking up carbon dioxide that would otherwise be free in the atmosphere and by contributing to ongoing changes in climate patterns. Today on EdFile, we start with a story of how some small businesses are harming their environment in Borno State. Just stay with us. At the Muna Garage Camp in Maiduguri, northeastern Nigeria, a group of displaced people run traditional wood carving businesses, selling mortars and pestles, cooking sticks and furniture, as well as wooden slates used by students in local schools. Engaging in small businesses like these is an important source of livelihood for thousands of displaced people in the country. The 8-year Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast has uprooted around 2 million people from their homes, some in Nigeria and some overseas. The United Nations calls it one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. More than 670,000 of those people live in camps in the region, where cash is hard to come by, opportunities for work are rare, and the food and aid they get is often not what they want. Maiduguri in Borno State is the spiritual home of the Islamist Boko Haram movement, which wants to establish a caliphate in the region surrounding Lake Chad. Muna Garage Camp for displaced people is a frequent target of Boko Haram attacks.
I've been in this business for over 15 years. We continue to benefit from it just like we used to in the village. It has helped solve a lot of problems. We thank God for that. Even though we're displaced, this trade has a lot to offer. We're not suffering in the camp because we can work. We're able to buy grains, soap and clothes for our children and families. We thank God.
I have been trading in wood for 26 years. I used to sell wood products in various local governments, but then the conflict got worse and we had to flee. I went to Cameroon. We suffered in Cameroon, then came back and took refuge here. If it wasn't for this business, we would have nothing to eat or survive on.
Meanwhile, environmentalists are warning that deforestation around camps hosting refugees who rely on wood for fuel and to run their businesses is on the rise. Depletion of forests also risks creating tensions with local communities and disrupting the ecosystem. As trees stabilize the climate, regulate water flows, and provide shelter to numerous animal species. Fires used by refugees are mostly fueled by chopped wood, which is putting pressure on the few remaining forests. Traders here argue that they have no option but to sell wood to earn a living.
We collect firewood because we have no other means of survival, no food to eat. This is the reason why we get firewood nearby. We get chased by Boko Haram sometimes and we go to the forest. Even today they burned down 2 of our cars and reduced them to ash. We live in difficulty. In this situation, we can only survive through firewood, so we can feed our families, given that nobody is helping, neither the government nor any other organization. When we collect firewood, we earn some money to get by.
Folonsho Adeogun is an associate professor in the Arid Zone Ecology Department at the University of Maiduguri.
With the increased population of the people in this area, the demand for wood consumption is always proportional to the population. And for that reason, the assault on the vegetation, the natural vegetation, is so much that there is a very high depletion of the wood resources. And this depletion is translating to exposure of the land to desertification.
Similar threats to the environment are already being flagged in other parts of the continent. The Food and Agriculture Organization plans to monitor deforestation in Uganda, which has received 600,000 South Sudanese refugees so far. While in Ethiopia, the United Nations is helping plant 1 million trees to fight deforestation near camps. In 2010, Nigeria had 9 million hectares of forest, 336,000 hectares of which are primary forest. Nigeria has one of the highest rates of deforestation in the world, having lost around 410,100 hectares per year over the period between 2005 and 2010. The main drivers of deforestation in the country are agriculture, logging and mining. Studies in the southern region have cited rapid population growth, agricultural expansion, use of firewood and logging as major drivers of deforestation in the country. Many communities depend on traditional methods of farming and are facing land use constraints. Population growth stimulates agricultural expansion, thereby diminishing arable land and encouraging forest clearing. Rising prices of petroleum products, especially cooking gas and kerosene, have encouraged both rural and urban households to rely on firewood and charcoal as the main sources of energy. This has led to further deforestation. While logging operations practice a selective system in allocated forested areas, clear felling is common in some forest reserves. The removal of timber in Nigeria is occurring at an uncontrolled rate, without strict adherence to laws or payment of appropriate fees and levies, contributing to increasing rates of forest loss. Between 2001 and 2016, Nigeria lost 567 kilohectares of tree cover. This loss is equal to 5.6% of the area's tree cover extent in 2000 and equivalent to 44.5 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions. In 2010, Nigeria had 8.9 millihectares of tree cover, extending over 9.8% of its land area. In 2016, meanwhile, it lost 72 kilohectares of forest, equivalent to 5.4 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions. Of the top 10 regions responsible for more than half, that is, around 84% of all tree cover loss between 2001 and 2016, Edo had the largest tree cover loss at 164 kilohectares compared to an average of 15.3 kilohectares. It is followed by Ondo State with 60 kilohectares, then Taraba with 51.9 kilohectares. Cross River followed closely with 49.1 kilohectares and Ogun State with 42.1 kilohectares.